Hey, what's up YouTube? Forrest here, and I'm back outdoors again. So here in this video, I'm going to teach you guys about poison oak and poison ivy. I'm going to teach you guys how to, number one, identify it, number two, avoid it at all costs, and number three, I'm going to be exposing some myths as well as teaching you guys how to effectively treat it if you get it. Let's get right into it. So if you've been outdoors here in the United States, off in the sticks, you've more than likely either been exposed to poison oak or poison ivy, and they are very similar. Let me tell you why. So poison oak and poison ivy not only look very similar, but they also have the same chemical that gets on your skin like an oil and makes you react. This chemical is called Urushiol. And once your skin is exposed to this Urushiol, it's super hard to get off. It's basically like a grease or like an oil. And if you try to wash this oil off with just water, it's only going to spread. And it usually spreads to the places you don't want it the most. So on this YouTube page, we spend a lot of time outdoors, whether it's biking, hiking, fishing, anything outside, and I'm always constantly being exposed to poison oak. Now, where does poison oak usually grow? Well, typically I find it in shady areas. Poison oak does not like the sun, and poison oak loves to grow right under these oak trees, and it steals the water from all of the oak trees. Not only does this plant make you itch, it's also a thief. So guys, the biggest misconception with poison oak is that it can spread like some kind of disease, and I'm here to debunk that today. So poison oak is just an oil. It's the Urushiol oil. Most of the time when people experience a spread, it's not because of the boils that it makes on your skin once you've got it. It's because that your skin was already exposed to the oil and you just didn't wash it all the way off on the first try. So as you guys can see, we're here in the shady section of this bike path, and the poison oak is just trying to encroach on the trail here. And it's in sections just like this where it usually likes to hide out. And there's a lot of similarities between poison oak and poison ivy, so this video is good for both. Let me show you why. So the number one way to identify the poison oak is actually to spot 3 leaves. And what you're looking at here is actually 3 leaflets. We've got 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3 leaflets there, and that is actually making up 1 leaf of the poison oak. And poison ivy is the same. And boy, this is some of the biggest poison oak I've seen around here. It must have a juicy water source to feed off of under these oak trees here in the shade. So the number one thing that people usually say here in California is leaves of 3, let it be. And I guess in scientific terms, it's 3 leaflets. If you see those 3 leaves, just don't touch the plant and do your best to avoid it. Once the oils touch your clothes, it can last up to a few years if you don't know how to properly wash it. But there is some weird things with poison oak. It's a bit of a ventriloquist plant, and let me tell you why. There's a few other plants here that grow locally, at least in California that I'm aware of, that look just like poison oak. And I'd like to teach you how to identify poison oak from those 3 plants. So there's a reason they call it poison oak. Here's the start of the poison oak right here. As you can see, it's populating up underneath this baby oak tree. This right here is a baby oak tree. As you can see, the leaves are quite a bit darker green versus the poison oak. It's got a light green. Here in the summertime in California, there's one more thing I can show you how to identify poison oak versus an oak tree. So it's pretty early on in the season. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, here it is. So poison oak, later on in the season, loves to turn this juicy red color before it loses its leaves in the fall. As you guys can see, none of these other leaves have started turning red just quite yet, but we do have this one outlier. If you're able to identify that and it's got 3 leaves, go ahead and just let it be. There is one other plant, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it here on this walking path because it's a little bit dry, and that would be berry bushes. There's wild blackberries here in California that actually look just like poison oak, and they even turn a little bit red in the late summer. The difference, however, if you look at the branch of a poison oak plant, they're actually smooth, or they can be even a little bit furry. And that's a signifier of poison ivy as well. Poison ivy gets really furry. Yeah, I haven't seen any berry bushes here on my bike ride today, but if I see one, I'll let you know. The other signifier between the berry bushes and the poison oak, obviously the berry bushes will develop thorns. Oh guys, check this out. I don't know what this style of a plant is. That's not poison oak though, but it's hiding inside of the poison oak. If you can see right here, we've got more leaves of 3 trying to encroach on the trail. So now that you've learned how to identify these plants that spread oils everywhere and make you itch, how do you avoid them? Well, for starters, depends a lot on your clothes. So it seems silly to say, but if you know you're going to be hiking somewhere with a lot of poison oak, wear pants and a long sleeve shirt. Here today, I can pretty well see where the poison oak grows and where it doesn't, so I'm in short sleeves. but it does grow very low to the ground and it often likes to encroach onto hiking trails. So I usually choose to wear pants if I'm going to be outdoors or bushwhacking. The other thing people don't really think of that matters a lot with poison oak, it's got an oil, so you don't want to wear a nylon type of shirt, those stretchy hiking shirts. The oils just go right through them. You want to make sure that you wear a heavy-duty cargo style shirt if you're going to wear a long sleeve, or at least something the oils can't soak through. And the very same goes for pants. I've had days where I've tried to hike in lightweight hiking pants, and I also end up with poison oak. So that's usually why I wear a more industrial, durable hiking pant. Sometimes they're not as stretchy and not as comfortable, but it matters a lot. Another thing people don't really think about, but matters a lot, if you have a dog, dogs don't react at all to poison oak like humans do. However, they can still be a really good carrier of oils. If your dog's over here messing around in the poison oak, you bring it home a couple hours later, you don't wash it with something that can deteriorate the oils on the dog's fur, you're gonna get poison oak and they're gonna spread it everywhere. Other areas people don't think about that poison oak chooses to spread, bushwhacking tools, anything like chainsaws, shovels, anything you're out here clearing trails with, you want to make sure it's completely cleaned and soaped down with either like a simple green or something that will cut grease. Otherwise, you're going to continue getting that poison oak over and over again. You're not going to know where it's coming from, and it's just going to continue happening to you. Oh boy, have I had this one, and it's the absolute worst. Let me tell you a little story. Vehicle interiors. I was out cutting some trail with my cousin Nick a while back, and we were out hopping in and out of our truck, swapping some tools. I didn't know it, but the brush I was carrying under my arm, just like that, had little poison oak leaflets that were broken down in there. It was really hot out that day. I was sweating and the oils got inside my shirt, and eventually those oils ended up on the seat of my car. Now the seat of my car, it's a light fabric material. Those oils just soaked right in. I continued for days and days, up to about a month later, getting poison oak rash all down the side of my body, and I wasn't sure where it was coming from. We finally determined that it had made it onto the seat of my car. So we've touched on a few areas of how to avoid poison oak and poison ivy, how to identify it. Remember, the poison ivy is going to have those furry branches. It's still got the 3 leaflets, and the poison oak looks extremely oily. It can turn red in the late fall. It's not going to have any thorns or anything on the branches, and it grows in shady environments typically. So now that we've learned the most common ways to get poison oak and identify it, let's go ahead and jump to the next step: exposure. Most people that break out in poison oak rashes don't realize it, but they've got a few hours to wash all the oils off their skin, but it's a lot harder than you think. Number 1, do not go to the bathroom. The second you do that, oils are going to go to places you do not want them to go. Number 2, do not touch your face. Ultimately, what you need to do if you know you've been exposed to poison oak is get to a shower as fast as you can. Now don't panic, you have a little bit of time. I've heard some experts say you actually have upwards of like 8 hours to get to a shower. I don't know that I would wait quite 8 hours, because by that time it's likely soaked all the way through your clothes and it's probably getting down into your skin pores. Now taking a shower is very beneficial, but there's a few things you can do before that to prevent it even further. What I actually like to do, if I'm on a deep adventure out in the woods, I'll actually carry a secondary pair of clothes and keep them clean in the truck. Even if I know that my skin's been exposed to it, I can at least take the exposed clothing and put that in a special area that I know the oils aren't going to get around my car. I actually like to carry a little wash station in the back of my car, so if I know I've been exposed or any tools have been exposed, I'll bring some Simple Green or maybe some Dawn dish soap and just wash my arms and myself before I get back in the car. I also like to bring a change of clothes with me if I know I've been exposed, so at least I can put the dirty clothes that have the poison oak oil on the outside in something like a trash bag, put on the clean clothes, and at least if I still have the oils on my skin, the oils are not going to be transferred to my car interior. If poison oak gets into your shoelaces, it's going to last for months and months, and you're not going to be able to know where it's coming from, and you're always going to have it on your hands. So make sure you wash your shoes. So if you're mountain biking, we can see the issue here. The lateral line of where the poison oak tends to be and the hand grip where your exposed hands always seem to be, right on your knuckles, is about the same. I find mountain biking that the grips and the brake levers are always the first things to get exposed to poison oak. If you're into bikes, that's one of the #1 areas you're going to get poison oak. So I would recommend, if you've been exposed to it, start by washing your bike. And while we're at it, go ahead and wash down here as well. The pedals and the entire side of your bike, all of it needs to be washed, ideally with a Simple Green or a Dawn dish soap, something that'll really cut oils. So now that we're at the point in this video where we learned how to identify poison oak and the first things to do if you've been exposed, how do we treat it? Well, let me show you. If you've been exposed to poison oak, what I usually do is just bring a water jug like this with you with some soap. Turn it down like this on the edge of either my tailgate if I've got a truck, or in this case on the edge of my Land Cruiser. And then I just simply flip the edge and go ahead and just wash my hands right underneath it. And I'll bring either some Simple Green or Dawn dish soap in order to do that. Okay, so we're back here at the house, and I figured I would demonstrate to you guys just how the Urushiol actually works in poison ivy and poison oak. It's actually very similar to red car grease. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick right now in order to get the Urushiol all the way off of your skin using just a rag and a little bit of water. Okay, so this red bearing grease on my arm is essentially the same as the Urushiol that the poison oak and the poison ivy let off. I have it really caked up on my arm right here just for drastic purposes, but I'm going to show you what it does when you hit it with Dawn dish soap. Now, I really do like Dawn to remove poison oak because it cuts the oils really well, but I'm just going to show you what it does when you just rub it in by hand. So with a little bit of water running, we're going to start and we're just going to rub the Dawn on there, and as you can see, pretty much, I mean, it does work, but all you're doing is basically spreading the oils. As we hit this with water, we spread the oil a little bit, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's an oil slick now all the way around my hand and down my arm, and I can still feel that oil residually on my hairs on my arm. There's mixed reviews about what temperature water to use when you're removing poison oak or poison ivy. A lot of people like to say use really cold water. I've heard both arguments with this. I actually have experience trying extremely cold water, and that is what I would recommend. I've also got experience trying excruciatingly hot water. Now, I believe the excruciatingly hot water is only good if you catch it in time, because what it actually does is it opens your skin pores. Now, if you wait too long, the oils, the Urushiol, is already soaked into your skin, and if you use that hot water, it's only going to soak deeper and spread even farther. However, if you do use the hot water, it needs to be excruciatingly hot if you catch it in time. I'm talking like less than an hour, because it lets those skin pores open up fast, and if they open up fast enough and you hit it with the right tools, you can kill it before it gets too far. But if it's already soaked in too far, there's nothing you can do. You're going to have to use cold water. The issue with the cold water is it shrinks the skin pores, often closing them off and trapping oils inside. So if you've waited too long, if you trap the oils inside, no matter how much you scrub, it's really not going to do much. The other trick I have, if you live near the ocean and you know you've been exposed, the best thing you can do is jump in the cold salt water. The saltier water, the better. The drier your skin is, the better you are off. Doesn't even matter what soap you use. I know salt water works the best for myself. You guys should give that a shot as well. Anyways, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hit the oil here with the rag. So we're going to get the rag a little bit wet. I'm just using cold water. We can add Dawn to it. And I'm going to run this underneath the water as well, just like I did before. And I'm going to hit it with the rag. And you can really get a good scrub. And I'm even scrubbing off the oil from before. I would advise the most common areas underneath the arm. I always get it down up in here, and these are the areas that when you're washing, you just don't actually touch when you're in the shower. So all up here behind your arms, up underneath, all the areas you think that you wouldn't usually be washing, you want to get, and you want to hit them with the rag. So as you guys can see, I don't know if you can see the red oil stain on the rag there. That's all the oil or the poison oak oil that you would have soaked up with just the rag. Now you can go ahead and know this is contaminated. You can just throw the rag away, no problem. Remember, use Dawn dish soap and a nice rag like that. Hopefully you'll never have a poison ivy or poison oak issue again. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the playlist I have linked in the description. I've got so many more videos just like this one. And please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you. We'll see you in the next video.